Boston had stars, legendary players whose names are etched in basketball history forever, players who dominated their era and defined what excellence looked like. But championships require something more than just talent and individual brilliance. They need something that doesn't always show up in box scores or highlight reels. They need something else entirely. They need a closer, a defensive stopper who can shut down the opposition's best player. They need a guard who doesn't talk trash or seek media attention, who doesn't need validation from outside sources. They need someone who just takes your air away when the game matters most, who makes opponents doubt themselves in crucial moments. Dennis Johnson was never loud, never flashy, never the player who dominated headlines or filled highlight reels with spectacular dunks and crossovers. But when the moment was biggest, when championships hung in the balance and pressure mounted to unbearable levels, DJ was right there, delivering exactly what his team needed. This is the story of one of the most underrated winners the game has ever seen. Dennis Wayne Johnson was born September 18, 1954, in Los Angeles, California. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing 185 pounds, he possessed a guard's frame with exceptional length and athleticism. He would eventually become known simply as DJ to basketball fans around the world, a nickname that carried respect and recognition. His story wasn't built in luxury gyms or elite basketball academies where future stars are groomed from childhood. It was built in real life, under real pressure, in real survival mode on the streets of Los Angeles. Before the NBA glory, before the championships and Hall of Fame induction, DJ was just a kid from LA, trying to find his lane in life, trying to figure out how basketball could provide opportunities beyond his neighborhood. He loved sports from an early age, showing competitive fire in everything he attempted. He ran with his brothers through the neighborhoods, learning toughness and resilience. And like a lot of Los Angeles kids growing up in his era during the 1960s and early 1970s, he had to grow up fast, navigating challenges that many suburban kids never faced. Dennis Johnson attended Dominguez High School in Compton, California, a tough working-class community that produced numerous talented athletes despite limited resources. And then here's the twist that makes his story so remarkable and inspirational. DJ wasn't a teenage superstar everyone was watching and recruiting. He wasn't the kid with scholarship offers piling up from major universities or scouts tracking his every move and projecting NBA potential. He was small at first, undersized for competitive high school basketball, where physical development often determines playing time. He barely played meaningful minutes during his early years, spending most games on the bench, watching teammates get opportunities. This was the kind of disappointing start that makes most people quit basketball entirely, that convinces teenagers their dreams are unrealistic and they should pursue something else. But Dennis Johnson didn't quit or give up on his dreams. He just kept showing up to practice every single day and kept working on his game in empty gyms, kept believing that something would eventually change if he stayed committed. And then his body finally changed. He grew several inches. And when his athleticism and physical development finally caught up to his competitive mindset and basketball intelligence, everything started to shift in his favor. After graduating from high school without major scholarship offers, Dennis Johnson wasn't living some fairy tale basketball story where everything falls into place. He wasn't heading to a major Division I university on a full scholarship with his future mapped out and guaranteed. He worked regular jobs to support himself financially, taking whatever work he could find. He played summer league basketball after finishing his shifts, exhausted but determined. This was survival basketball. Your not glory basketball played in front of thousands of fans. And that's where the real growth happened for DJ. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, as he learned what it truly meant to compete. He learned toughness through necessity, not through coaching or structured development programs. Then he landed at Los Angeles Harbor College, a junior college program far from the national spotlight where most NBA prospects play. And suddenly, the overlooked kid became a serious problem for opponents who underestimated him. He wasn't polished or perfect in his execution like players from elite programs, but he was absolutely fierce in his competitiveness, playing every possession like his life depended on it. Defense came first in his approach to the game. Competition was constant. DJ was systematically building the foundation of what would become a Hall of Fame career. From junior college, Dennis Johnson transferred to Pepperdine University, finally getting a legitimate stage to showcase his abilities against higher-level Division I competition. And in just one season at Pepperdine, he made NBA scouts look twice and completely reconsider their initial evaluations of his professional potential. Tough defense that frustrated opponents, strong guard play with excellent decision-making, physical toughness that intimidated players, and a new reputation began forming around him throughout scouting circles. This dude is built for the professional league. DJ declared for the NBA draft with hope, but without certainty about his future. Even then, after proving himself at Pepperdine, he wasn't sure anyone would actually take a chance on a late bloomer from the junior college ranks. The 1976 NBA draft, second round, pick number 29. The Seattle SuperSonics took a chance on a kid from Los Angeles who didn't come up through the normal basketball development pathway that produced most NBA players. And that was perfect, because Dennis Johnson was never a normal player anyway. He was something different, something special, in ways that couldn't be measured by traditional scouting metrics. In Seattle, Dennis Johnson started his professional career as a shooting guard, learning the nuances of NBA basketball. At first, his role was limited as he learned the professional game and adjusted to the speed and physicality of NBA competition. But once the coaching staff and his teammates truly trusted him and understood his value, DJ absolutely took off. In 1979, the Seattle SuperSonics made basketball history, and Dennis Johnson became the difference maker in their championship run. He led them to their only NBA championship in franchise history. After Seattle, DJ moved to the Phoenix Suns. He became an even more complete and versatile player, more scoring responsibility as a primary option, same defensive pride and intensity that defined his game. He was entering his absolute prime years as a professional. And then came Boston, the franchise that would define the final chapter of his career. The Boston Celtics didn't just need another talented player to add to their roster, they needed a specific solution to a specific problem that had prevented them from winning championships. They had offensive genius in Larry Bird, one of the greatest forwards ever. They had size and interior presence, with Kevin McHale and Robert Parish forming a dominant front court. They had shooting and skill throughout the roster. In 1984, Boston captured the NBA championship. And in 1986, they won it again with DJ leading the defensive effort. 2 championships in Boston, yes, because Dennis Johnson gave them exactly what every dynasty needs: control of games and cold-blooded moments when pressure mounted to its highest levels. In the 1985 Finals Game 4, DJ hit a clutch jumper that shifted momentum completely. In the legendary 1987 Eastern Conference Finals Game 5 against Detroit, Larry Bird made an iconic steal on an inbound pass and immediately found DJ cutting to the basket for the game-winning layup. Dennis Johnson is proof that your beginning doesn't decide your ending. Late bloomer from Compton who barely played in high school. Junior college player when most NBA stars were at major universities. Second-round draft pick when first-rounders get all the attention. NBA Finals Most Valuable Player. Three-time NBA champion. Hall of Famer. He wasn't the loudest star in basketball history. He wasn't the player who dominated media attention or generated the most headlines. But he was exactly the kind of winner that every championship dynasty absolutely needs. The quiet assassin who delivered when it mattered. And that quiet excellence, that relentless competitiveness, that championship mentality that refused to accept failure, that was his humble fire. If you enjoyed this documentary, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories about the underrated champions who changed basketball history. Who should we cover next? Let us know in the comments.